It was the start of a great love story. I came here, no job, no capital, no assets. My wife was 6 months pregnant. 1 month went past unpaid, 2 months went past unpaid. In total, it got to 200K.
Jesus.
In the UK, you live for the weekend, and if it rains, you live for the next one. Here in Dubai, every day when you finish work is a weekend. There's lots of money, but you have to work for the money. If you work smart, not hard, you can really grow your own capital.
You're here, you're established, you're happy.
If it was that simple.
Jordan, thank you very much for coming over. This sort of series is about real people in Dubai doing business. I want to find out how you came here. I want to know what you think about Dubai. I want to know how you compare to where you come from. And I want to know about your entrepreneurial journey, because I'm sort of passionate about finding that out. And I guess also your story will maybe inspire others to move and potentially tell people not to, because they're not ready, because there's a lot of problems in moving as well.
It was the start of a great love story. So COVID hit, I was in the UK. I started exchanging messages with my now wife, mother to my son, on Instagram, and conversations blossomed. It then resulted in me traveling here a lot in COVID. I was looking at purchasing property as well, so that meant that I could travel freely. It meant that I was able to come and work remotely, book a week, stay for free, go home, clean my clothes, get some new clothes, come back. My visiting was predominantly focused on being here to spend time with my wife, or now wife. However, naturally, once you're in the environment, you're meeting certain people. She's been here for 12 years, so you'll know yourself, once you've been here kind of 10 years plus, you then become a different category of resident. And the people that you first moved here with that are still here, they've started at the bottom, they're now CEOs, they're directors, they've got their own companies. So when I came into Dubai, I was introduced to a circle of people that were at the top of their game. And I think when you're at the top of your game here in Dubai, it's a different caliber of success. People are here predominantly to work. They're not here to just get by. I think if you're going to leave your family and your hometown, you're here to make a success of yourself. You're work orientated. I think there's definitely a filter as well. Some people come here and they may only last a year, because there's lots of bright lights, there's lots of beach clubs, there's lots of distractions, there's lots of money, but you have to work for the money. It's not given to you here. I think there is definitely a high percentage of people that arrive and leave within a short time, spend all their money, might have a couple of good memories and a great photo album to show some of the experiences, but no capital, no assets, nothing to go back with, and you restart and start again.
Yes. Sort of actually a recurring theme of people coming here for 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years, and then going back home with no money in their pocket, and they were living the Dubai life and the Dubai dream. I think it's just, there's so many options in Dubai to do something with your money, to go out, to, I don't know, fanciest restaurants, best entertainment places, best hotels, staycations, and marketing bombards you with everything all the time. So yeah, it's kind of difficult to say no to it. Can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing in the UK before you came here, and what did you start doing when you actually moved? How was that move?
Yeah, no, great question. So back in the UK, my majority of my working career was in the motor trade. So I was a Renault sports specialist from a young age, early 20s.
Okay. French car.
Yeah.
Good taste, I like it.
And to be fair, at 22, 23, my job was pretty much to entertain clients driving around racetracks across the UK, sit in hospitality on race days, and then sell cars in between. So it was great. I was probably the youngest in the role. I built my specific dealership up to a position where we were getting heritage cars, so Renault 5 turbos that had sat in the Renault Sport factory, that were the ex-CEO from 20 years ago, who had it issued to himself and then left, and it just sat in a warehouse with 500 miles. We were getting those to sell because of our performance. So that was great. Moved to Mercedes, become one of the youngest AMG specialists at Mercedes, which was great. Basically just transferred Renault Sports and doubled the brake horsepower, and went to a different factory, sat in Milton Keynes at Mercedes-Benz World, which was great. And I was there for a long time. And I guess that was really the first point in which that my entrepreneurial journey started, where at Mercedes, believe it or not, I was selling an AMG GT S at the time. The GTRs weren't even out. Commission, £100. If I £1,000 A-class, commission, £100.
Oh, wow.
So I'd work 10 times as hard for this and want to sell it because of the person I am and the racing background that I enjoyed, but I wasn't getting any financial gain out of it.
That's strange. Well, how come? Because typically in a sales job or in a commission job, higher you sell, more money you make.
You'd think that. And I think partly it's down to the fact that the motor trade is very slim in the profitability across cars. Really? You might think that for a new car selling a GTS, you're going to have tens of thousands in profit. It's actually not. It's a couple of thousand. When you're selling a new car in a dealership, there would be tens of thousands of pounds in profit for a car of that caliber. But the reality is there's still only a couple of £1,000, maybe 5,000 maximum. There's actually more money in used cars. So new cars are more a vehicle of selling units and just getting by. I guess in the used cars is where more of the trading happens. You buy from someone that's in a bit of a desperate sale, they need to downgrade, give them enough that they need, but then you sell it for the 7, 8, 9, 10s more. But yeah, I learned that actually my hard work isn't actually reflected, and I'm better off just selling used cars that are very cheap because I can get more of them out and make myself more money. And then off the back end, I opened a car and van leasing brokerage. So I started essentially working directly with the financing companies and from the stockists around the UK. And then selling a car went to making £1,000 to £1,500 per car. I was like, wow, for every one car I sell now, that was 10 or 15 before. And then that started to bring me into the world of business and how actually, if you work smart, not hard, you can really grow your own capital and then start putting that into alternative investments. So that was the start of my journey into the working world. I then maintained that business for a long time, the car and van leasing brokerage. And then after that, I went into real estate. Not because I wanted to, because someone said I'd be good at it. I said, I'm good at what I do now. I have my own company. And they said, yeah, but you could do this and then you could have your staff run the company and you double your income. And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, well, tell me more. So then I started selling property. I was selling in Greenwich, Camberwell, Dartford, Maidstone, generally across Essex, Kent and London.
You're very young at this stage now?
Yeah, so I would have been late 20s.
So you have a late 20s, you already have a business car dealership?
Yeah. Online, it's more online. But
car brokerage?
Yeah.
Like an online marketplace?
Essentially, so we have a website, you can go online, pick your car, you get your financing terms. Basically, in the short term, you go into a motor dealership, they've got a showroom, staff, utility bills, licensing to pay for.
OPEX, yeah.
Exactly. When you come to me, your car gets delivered off a low loader. Okay, the experience isn't there's a bow on it, but you save £100, £200 per month, which is a lot. So people opted for that. Certainly, in that time as well, the run up to COVID, Carwell come out, stuff like this. So it was the right time to make the jump.
And at the same time, property?
Property, yeah.
But you were a broker or you had your own business?
Developer, directly for the developer.
You worked for a developer directly, so off-plan?
Yes.
Okay.
So the some of the developments I had, largest within the group, 780 units, flats, which I sold out in a weekend. So like great success in that. The buildings were very good. The developer was very good. So it was, if you're a well-astute kind of honed in salesperson and you could explain the local area, sell it to families, sell it to a business person. It was close to London and stuff like this. You just had to be able to speak to people and sell it to them in the right way, and then it sold itself. So that was great. And that was my last job before moving here. When I moved here, Dubai's a bit of a wild west.
So what makes you say that?
I had a company I worked for in a very short term, crypto company. Looked very well established from the outside, building an ecosystem of their own coin, which with that coin you could buy stuff in the marketplace, so exclusive Louis Vuitton trainers that were impossible to get anywhere else, but they had this stock and amazing opportunities. The idea was you get your USD or USDT, convert it into this coin, and then suddenly you've got access to all of this amazing stuff on the marketplace, as well as the appreciation of the coin as more money goes into the ecos. Sounded great. Within a couple of months, you're like, there's some stuff that doesn't really make sense here.
Too good to be true?
Yes, and contradictions, and just, I'm not sure if I don't fully understand it. And if you don't fully understand it on your inside, That's a red flag. So I parted ways and said, right, I need something that's going to be more secure, an established company, not a startup, not whilst I've just moved across the world.
You had a successful online car dealership. You had the property thing going for you as well. And yet you still decided to come here to work for a crypto company.
Yeah.
And basically you're an owner, now you're going to work for somebody. So clearly it's not for money.
No.
Yeah, so this is the love part, right?
Yeah, sure it was. It was on a week's notice. I was doing long distance with my partner. That's difficult within itself. And yeah, it was always on the cards. And one day I was like, why don't you just move here? I said, fine. When? She said, when can you get here? I said, I'll be there next week. And I literally packed my bags, moved here. There was still washing, drying on the line. Like that was my housemate was like, where have you gone? Pretty much. But I arrived here. I knew that from my background and what I'd seen that this was suited to me as a person, naive to what goes into having the successes. And you see every other car's a Lamborghini Huracan or a Brabus. I've never seen so many Brabus when I come here. And it's easy to think that that's normal, but each of those people have worked hard to get there. I came here, no job. And then it was a case of, right, well, what do I want to do? I know my skill sets. I've sold my whole life. I've had an array of jobs within selling, all sales orientated. I've done courses in neuro-linguistic programming. I've done selling to the subconscious mind. Like, I love selling. And it's not to make money out of people. It's being able to guide and give a person experience they wouldn't get anywhere else. It's to educate someone into having something better or more suited to what they believe they needed. And it's to learn and grow from others that are more successful than me. Because in sales, you have the opportunity to meet people that are of a much higher caliber of you or are much more successful. And if you service them well, they'll always remember you. And if they remember you, they'll have time for you. And if they've got time for you, then you can learn from them. And you always can learn something from everyone. You don't have to take what they say and make it fit to you, but there's lots that you can learn from others' experience. You'll subconsciously log in your head, oh, I remember someone done that before, I'm not going to do that in the future. So good or bad advice is both good for you because you remember it and it helps you build your foundation and sharpen your tools.
That's fair. So how did you move here? Just took a ticket, got an entry visa? Did you do anything from a visa perspective?
Yeah, I moved here and you go on a tourist visa, 30 days. After the 30 days, you essentially need to either leave the country again or you need to sort out your residence visa.
What did you do?
I racked up a few overstay fines. Yeah, I was definitely struggling I was definitely getting a bit hot under the collar when it was getting to month 2, and I was like, no one's really employing, and I've got a UK passport. I thought this was going to be easy, and for my wife it was, but that was 10, 12 years ago when there was no people from the UK that wanted to move here. Now every person from the UK wants to move here. So it was a different time, and maybe through her guidance and previous experience, because she was with her company for 10 years.
What did she do?
So she was in aviation. She actually managed all of the manpower for DXB Airport. So
oh, that's massive.
Yeah, huge. I think, if I remember, it was multiple thousands of staff and she was a one-person band. So she was HR, sales, marketing. She was working with Visa, MasterCard, all of the alcohol brands. She was working with everyone and had all of the contracts managed. She did all the paying of the staff.
So she guided you at the beginning and helped her out?
She guided me at the beginning. She introduced me to a few people. I've been a success in my years. I moved out of my house when I was 17 and got half a mortgage. So I'm used to fending for myself. So even, especially as going into a new relationship, you feel the need to fend, thank you, but I got this. I didn't have it, but I needed to make it happen. That was the reality of it. And then I found my old company, Ebury, which is a payment service provider, probably top 3, top 5 company globally, I'd say. And they taught me so much, so much. From very entry-level knowledge of FX and global economic markets, I grew and expanded upon what I already knew, learning new aspects of risk mitigation, emerging markets, institutional solutions for non-operational entities, holdcos, foundations, SPVs, SPCs. All of this was new to me, but I'm very much the kind of person that when selling a product, my biggest fear is someone asking me a question I don't know. So I will sit, learn. My way of learning is to read it, write it out, and speak it. Because I've got 3 different ways of remembering it. So I can visualize me writing it down one way. If I remember myself saying it, there's another way. And then obviously reading it is the third. So that's how I got through that, and I learned a lot. I went from looking after small SMEs to one of my largest clients being owned by the Abu Dhabi government, so large steel company. And I think my client book was trading maybe in excess of $700-800 million a year.
Some serious money, some serious FX fees there.
Yeah. But my favorite thing, and even to this day, was, again, it's not commercially motivated. I really enjoy solving problems.
Having the solution.
And the more complex it was, the better for me. If you're trading with Africa, I've got a client in Nigeria that can't pay me. No one can help me. That's easy. I've done all the hard work. I can do that. I can get you $500,000 a day out, and that's not a problem. And building those kind of robust solutions through official banking channels, and people going, no, but my CFO's been trying to solve this for 3 years. There's no way we can do it. Our board won't allow us to use the Hawala system. Of course they won't. Who's going to let you go onto the street and give a guy a load of money in exchange for getting it back home?
Just for context, Hawala is the word that's used here for cash-to-cash transactions where, I don't know, you're in Dubai, you give cash to a guy, and then there's another guy in Nigeria who receives the cash. Yeah. It's sort of the gray, black market of, moving money.
Yep.
Yeah, and obviously real businesses don't want to do that because there's no trace. It's 100% risk.
Yeah.
So you just give a guy, and then you pray.
Yeah.
It's not at all what you want to be doing. But yeah, so just to give context, because obviously not everybody knows what Hawala means.
Of course, yeah. Going for official banking channels, keep the boards happy. You've got large companies like Nestle and there's loads that have factories still in Africa, of course, and they need solutions. So yeah, working with those kind of businesses is great because having the solutions to things that people that have been in the industry or in finance much longer than me and they haven't been able to solve, it's a good boost for your own ego.
Yeah, it strokes your ego. You do like that part. Oh, I see that. So you did Ebury, and now you're working for yourself.
Yes.
So back to entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And I know that you and your wife, you're working together with Sand and Stone.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because it's also super interesting what you're doing, and I think it can really open up a lot of topics here to discuss on, setting up and then, obviously the doing business in Dubai, the real life.
Yeah. So this was and is our first project and business within the UAE. So my wife, as I mentioned earlier, she's a powerhouse. She is her own person, but together we're a great team. And Sand and Stone actually come from a really negative situation. My wife was, and again, wild west of the UAE, Dubai. She was employed by a company on a healthy wage. She was 6 months pregnant. Mm-hmm. She was working, growing, fixing the problems within their business. 1 month went past unpaid. Happens. 2 months went past unpaid. Okay, they're still in contact every couple of days. 3 months went past. Okay, what's going on here? Like, we need. She's 6 months. She's 6 months now, coming on 9 months pregnant. We're about to have a baby. We never planned to have a baby on one salary. Where's this money? Mm-hmm. In total, it got to around 200K.
Jesus.
That they hadn't paid. And the problem was when you wait until so long, you almost can't back out because you're then reliant. If it was 1 or 2 months in, you can find something else, start again, and then you're getting money back in. When you're 200K in, it's like, well, I need that or at least some of it because now we're behind. So that was a negative situation, and we bit the bullet, let it go, and accepted it was never going to come.
Did you press charges, file a lawsuit? Did you do anything
Yeah,
legally?
yeah.
Did that work?
It was, I think it was dealt with internally. We have a good network here of friends that are well respected within well respected places, and we kind of shared our experience with them, and they weren't happy. You know how it is, the UAE. When you get to a certain level, they don't like to know that people are operating ill in their city. And I think there was probably a certain element of other people already making noise about said companies. So we just added to it, and we've done our bit, and we was like, let's just focus on the next bit. Otherwise, we're never going to get back on track. And things started picking up. My wife went to university in London and did art, London Arts College. So she's very creative. And when we had a bit of money that had come together, we'd welcomed my son into the world. We wanted a marble table. Now, my wife's family look after 60% of London's stone. Her family are 80-year stonemasons. So Houses of Parliament, some of the major landmarks in London, they look after the stone, which is great. So we know the cost of stone. I say we, she did. I didn't, now I do. That's why she's the brains.
I like the we part.
Yeah. And when we were shopping in the retailers here, we were like, that's extortionate, like for what it is. So we went and did a bit of R&D, and we designed our own table and had it made. And when we posted on Instagram, it was delivered, great. We kissed a few frogs before we got to our prints when it comes to getting the table made. Another thing that's quite common in the UAE with business. The wife posted it and everyone's like, oh my God, that's beautiful. Where did you get it from? Whoa. Don't tell anyone. You want something, you need to get back into work when you're ready, you're a new mum. This is the perfect opportunity for you to start a business as slowly as you like. But you know marble, you know stone. We've got now someone that's capable of delivering a high standard. And that was the initiation. We started at placemats, coasters, and home decor pieces. And then we went into coffee tables, dining tables, side tables. Then someone rang us one day and said, I need a kitchen worktop. Can you do that? And we're like, we have marble, we have saws. Yeah, we could do that. And it just grew and grew. And we're super grateful for the growth that we have seen in the 2 years that we've been operating, coming up to 3 years. We could never have believed that we were in the position that we are now, and have disrupted the market as much as we have. And I think one thing that has really been the driver for that is my wife's original ethos of starting the company, and that she wanted to make marble affordable to the masses. And by doing what we did is we come in and we undercut the market by some of the retailers. At some point it was like 60%.
How do you do that? How is it possible to undercut a retailer for 60% on marble? Marble is not cheap, no?
Marble is relatively cheap.
Relatively cheap.
The margins in marble are a lot. Because typically those who are associated with marble,
Italian brands,
but you're looking at hotels and the high net worths and your large villas. But the cost of marble's not that bad. And also, where are we in the world? We're pretty centralized to most places.
Oh, so you mean like it's easy to bring here?
Importation's easier. It's less distance, less cost. So that helps. And also labor costs here, much less. Now, we've got future plans for expansion, and it's cost efficient for us to manufacture here, ship around the world, and still undercut those markets, even with shipping costs.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's the plan. The plan is to expand internationally.
Yeah, it's already.
You're already doing it?
No, well, we've done a couple of bits. We've done a 20-bed villa in Mallorca.
20 bed. That is not a small villa. 20 beds. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, there's a good client of ours, now a friend. We look after his properties here. We actually found a goals list for the business, a route to market, growth and expansion. 2.5 years old now. And if we were to look at it now, we're still probably only 15% of the way through. because we're so busy, but we've built a very solid foundation, which is great. But we're still only just getting going, which is the scary thing for the market, but exciting for us, because we will continue to grow and take market share, because everyone knows the quality of our work. It's a Western quality. It's meticulous. So my wife quality checks at the factory before it leaves the factory. She quality checks on site. We now have ops manager. We have additional staff for costing, etc. So the team's building out, but it's the right team. It's experienced. We've got multilingual staff. So the difficulties you experience here is you can have a great company, you can have a great maybe contractor or mason, but if the mason is of Egyptian, Arabic, Turkish, anyway, Lebanese, and you're trying to explain something on a service fit out, your kitchen fitting, explaining what you want and what may be wrong is difficult. And a lot of companies will do that. You'll face a Westerner, it's great, you have a fantastic conversation, but then after that, the people that you deal with, English isn't their first language, and then there's breakdown in communication, quality slips. So by ensuring that you have that transparency on conversation and wants and needs, then it ensures that client satisfaction is always maintained to the highest level. So we've just made sure that we build the company in the right way. We haven't rushed it, we haven't oversold ourselves and bitten off more than we can chew, and it's worked out really well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I think what I'd love to hear as well, you know, my professional background is, what did you do? What did you incorporate? Because obviously you're selling to clients directly.
Yep.
I know you have a manufacturing thing coming in, planning. So how is your business, your corporate setup? How did you do that?
We essentially have two entities. We have the factory and then we have our brand. And the good thing is, by having it that way, we can look after the staff and all of the licensing stuff on the factory, and then keep the brand very vanilla, very easy. It's just essentially almost like an e-commerce. And that works really well for us.
Where did you set up? Which region?
Sharjah.
You're in Sharjah?
Yeah.
And you have a warehouse in Sharjah?
Yeah.
Is it in safe zone or is it in
No,
Sharjah
it's
mainland?
in the industrial area.
Industrial area?
Yeah.
All right.
So that's where you find most.
Big warehouse, small warehouse?
It's a big factory.
It's a big factory, yeah?
Yeah.
Expensive rent?
Yeah. So that's where we partnered and got involved, and now for us that's our home. So that's where we spend the majority of our time, and that's led us to then look at moving outside of Dubai, which is the next plan. So we're looking to move to Ajman. We have the factory in Sharjah. We have factory also in Ajman. It means that we can be closer to the office. Our day starts in those two areas. So leaving Dubai to go there, to come back to Dubai, sometimes to go there and then come back to Dubai again, it's uneconomical. So not only that, the prices in Dubai have shot up. So what we can get for our money there far exceeds what we can get here.
But also, like, Ajman is not 3 hours away.
Oh, no.
That's like 25 minutes.
25 minutes, yeah. But it's the common misconception. Charles is like, do we have to take our passport? Like, no. It's 25 minutes. It's actually closer than where we live now. It wouldn't work for everyone. And I wouldn't tell everyone that it would. It wouldn't. Because if you're working in Dubai, you're going in peak traffic. The traffic's not nice.
Oh, that's tough. Sheikh Zayed at 8 a.m. from Sharjah to Dubai, to this side of town, Dubai Media City, is not fun.
Not fun, but that's if you're leaving at 8, we're leaving at 10, because we go to the factory first. So it's a different, but it fits us and our family perfectly. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I heard you had a few challenges on the property acquisition.
Wow, yeah.
So tell me, you're trying to buy a house in Ajman. What was the issue? Like, you go to DLD, you purchase, you get a title deed. What's the problem?
If it was that simple.
But it is that simple.
In Dubai.
It's supposed to be.
It is in Dubai, but Ajman is behind the curve.
Really? Yeah?
There are differences between borders. So the differences between Dubai and Sharjah, we know Sharjah is dry, and the whole experience of being in Sharjah is very different to Dubai. Ajman is not dry, but it's much more aligned with Sharjah. It's locals, which is great. I love that. There's too many Westerners here now. It's too busy. But no, the quieter pace of life for us and our family is what we're homebodies, so we like that. And we have a lot of local friends. My wife's been here 12 years. So difficulties: first house, deposit, excited, buying a house. It's going to be great. Down valued 500k.
On your mortgage application, you mean?
Correct. Yeah.
So you were supposed to get something like
You
5,
get X,
and you
then,
got less than 500k. Okay.
Yeah. So it was
So
like, okay.
mortgage is not passing. You can't get it.
Yeah, and it was like, we could put the money in, but do we want to put all of our capital in there? No, certainly not in this one. So pushed and pushed for revaluation. I must have been asked to pay about 6 different valuation companies. Oh no, this one's no good, cancel, we'll get another one. That one's no good, cancel, get another one. So they were, I assume, waiting for this one company where they had someone that had some kind of influence. I don't know. All I knew was I was paying 3,000 dirhams, I was getting a 3,000 refund. I was paying 3,000, get a refund. And that went on for some time. I was like, guys, خلاص, done. No more.
Not working.
No more. Moved on to property 2. Very exciting.
In Ajman,
In Ajman,
same area?
Same-ish area.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. Bigger one. Great. The same property will be 3 times the amount in Dubai. So a lovely property. Terms and conditions for the sales contract: 3 lines of A4. No force majeure, no title deed procedure, no...
So 3 lines and a piece of paper was the contract you got to buy a property in Ajman?
Yes.
This is a broker who gave it to you? Or
Yes,
was
this
it
is a real estate agent.
This is a real estate agent?
Agency, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So you've got the details of the property, blah, 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 buyer, seller, all written in Arabic. Please can you write again in English? Oh yes, no problem. We'll write half in English. This means this. Okay, well, write it in English then. No problem. And then 3 lines. And I was like, no, this is not enough. No, Najman, this is how it works. I was like, internationally, this is not. And I'm not going to do this. So I ended up writing a 4-page addendum. I was like, now we sign this in association with this. Emirates ID, they pass over for the owner. The owner stood in front of me, local guy, 6'3", I can see him. Emirates ID comes over and it's a local lady. And I said, who's this? She will be the title deed holder. Okay. Where is she? Oh, no, owner's wife. I was like, well, what? Owner's going to sign the contract? Yeah. Does he have power of attorney? Yes. Do you have any documentation from the notary? No, Ajman, no problem. Problem for me.
For sure.
Problem for me. If respectfully, if him and his wife are going for a divorce and I write him a check and he sells me a house and then I go to get a title deed and she says, this is my house, I'm not selling it. He has the check. I don't know who he is, really. I have no house, and I explained this to them. Then I got labelled an unserious buyer.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, when you complicate. So now there's one gated community in Ajman, which is very similar to kind of a JGE golf course, but it's also situated on the beach, which is very exciting.
That's really cool.
Great for my son. Indoor go-karting track, again, my background, heritage. If he wants a go-kart, there will be one sat on the drive for him that he can use whenever he likes. If he doesn't, then I will use it. So
that's the luxury life in Ajman.
Yeah, inshallah, this is the one that we settle for. It's another step up, but in life you have to take some gambles and you have to push yourself. And I have no doubt that between me and my wife, I think my wife could probably do it on her own. But certainly with us working together, we'll be more than capable of pushing through and far exceeding. And she's already looking at we haven't even moved into this one and she's already telling me she wants the beachfront one where the garden steps down into the beach. So yeah. So
first world problems.
Yeah. So listen, listen, we're very far away from that because it's still a hell of a lot of money, but you have to have something to aim for. And if that's our thing to aim for, then so be it. That's a great place to land. And here you can set those goals.
Yeah, because you can make that money.
You can make that money.
And it's not like 50 years from now. It's a year or 2. And sometimes it's one conversation away.
You look at that house in the UK, you would have to plan for your late 60s to live there.
Fair.
Because your business isn't built on fast growth and fast-paced market and money coming in and like-minded people around you. Usually in somewhere like the UK and I think maybe across Europe, the majority of successful businesses are built on scaling staff. You scale staff, that means you can expand your business, then you can. Here, I feel like it's not orientated in the same way because you can fill spaces, you can get good quality people because good quality people have moved here for a better life. They're like-minded, you can get them in positions where they help grow your business and everything's accelerated.
So you think that that Dubai has attracted better quality people and therefore entrepreneurs like ourselves have access to people who are more motivated and ambitious?
100%, and I think it's one of the big motivations of the UAE and each of the individual emirates. Like, there's a reason that you have these huge global exhibitions in the World Trade Center.
Yep.
People travel from around the world to our city to come here because it's the biggest show of the year. And that starts from the government level. They want to put these on so people come and understand what's on the map. These UAE businesses meet people traveling in and say, you're a good person. I want you in my company. They say, this is a great place. I want to be here. And so you almost network of people. It comes from the top. The government, the way that His Excellency portrays Dubai, and how each of the individual rulers kind of look after their own emirates. It's there to encourage people to come and visit. And it is the most visited country in the world. And therefore, once people are here, I mean, I'll ask you the question, how many people have you met that have only been on holiday that you've then gone on to do business with?
Well, I'm one of them. Actually, I came here in 13. I came for a week to visit my sister and I got offered 5 jobs because I spoke Russian. And the real estate market was like crazy here at the time. And everybody said, come, work. You're going to make so much money.
Yeah.
It's like, but I make this in France. He's like, yeah, you'll make the same amount, but in a month. So I was like, okay, that sounds interesting, but it's vibrant. And I've met a lot of people here who have come on holiday and now are, it's been 7 years.
Yeah.
That they're here and they moved because they love the safety aspect, the tax aspect, and well, specifically people from your country, it's sort of like rain or endless summer. Endless summer, clearly.
So you're a prime example. Look at your successes and the amazing company you've grown, and the people's lives that you have touched, whether that be directly through GCG or through your introductions and stuff like that. Like, without you coming here initially, this may never, the butterfly effect, this may never have happened. And so I think it starts by the grace of the people that are in charge. They encourage people to come here, and then that is ever evolving and ever growing opportunity for those that are settled and have their businesses in place. And yeah, I think it's there's no better place to be. If you're going to start a business, I feel like you're very much restricted in getting something up and off the ground in other countries. Here, it's encouraged and very easy.
Yeah, I think it's also, as you said, when you're surrounded by other people and doing business and positive and being able to refer to your business and just going, oh, you're starting a business, well done. Whereas in Europe or in France, oh, you're a business owner, good luck, man. There's a lot of taxes to pay. Are you sure it's a good idea? Why don't you just get an employment, a salary, something steady,
Pension. Get
a mortgage, like get a small house? Why are you doing this to yourself?
Pay the house off, use all of your money and pay the house off. And then you have no mortgage.
I think it's a different mentality. And here, probably, I've been here for a while now. It's been 11 years. So my appetite for risk is quite strong, but I also understand what's the downside because I've been through these entrepreneurial cycles. Well, let me ask you, do you ever think about, obviously you've been here in Dubai for 4 or 5 years now?
5 years.
5 years, yeah. And do you ever think about going back to the UK or retiring in the UK? Is that still something that you did think about?
No, my motivation is to get my family here.
Okay.
So I'd rather give everyone else in my family that couldn't make the jump the opportunity to, or at least the choice, to live here with us and have a better quality of life.
But you think here in Dubai or in the UAE is a better quality of life than in the UK?
Yeah.
Where are your family right now in the UK?
Isle of Wight, Kent, and Wiltshire.
Okay.
So
good places to live in the UK.
Yeah, good parts.
Yeah, good parts. But what's the difference in the quality of life? What do you think?
My analogy of the UK is you live for the weekend, and if it rains, you live for the next one.
That's horrible.
You work all week, you get home, shop's shut at 6. When you
Fair.
so if you finish at 5 or 5:30, you might get one shop back home. You eat, you watch telly, you may do some work. And my basis is less on a business owner perspective because I only had that limited time there, but more on a corporate employee basis. You look forward to the weekend, your downtime. If the weather's rubbish, you're sat in. You may go to a shopping mall.
Have a pint with some friends in a bar, and that's it.
And yeah. And here, every day when you finish work is a weekend because everything's open till 12, 1 a.m. There's 1,000,001 things to do. It's a Muslim country, so not everything's drink orientated. So you can do wholesome stuff with friends and you can go and have experiences. And I just feel like every day, every evening, you get through work with sometimes a smile on your face, sometimes not. But when work's said and done, the world's your oyster and you can do whatever you like. If you want to go train, you can go train till late. If you want to go to a museum, there's plenty of museums. You want to go to an aquarium, which one? You want to go to a zoo, there's indoor ones, there's outdoor ones, water parks, bowling. There's so much you can do. And there's so much you can do on your own. And then there's infinite amount that you can do with friends. So you go for a walk. Like in the UK again, if you go home from work and it's raining, you might push yourself to go for a run. I would. I enjoyed going for a run in the rain. But here you can go for a walk down the beach. Go put your toes in the sand. It's just better quality. And like getting outside, vitamin D, which some of us lack because we're in AC all day. I feel like there's a lot more opportunity here, even outside of work, to have a good quality of life without stresses and worries and inflation. Like I stand by the fact that I think it's cheaper to live here than the UK.
How do you figure that out? Because everybody says Dubai is expensive. And to be fair, I think Dubai has the sort of like, this is the cheaper part of Dubai where you can live and you can do a month on $1,500.
Yeah.
Right, on 5,000 dirhams. I did it.
Yeah.
When I came here, I was making 5,000 dirhams. So yeah, it's possible.
100%.
But if you're not in there and you're in TCOM and the room costs 3K, well, you have 2,000 dirhams left to live.
Yep.
You can live, but it's more like survival.
Yeah.
So, and then the upper end for me is sort of like, or you start really enjoying your life at 20,000 dirhams per month here.
Yep.
That's when you start making enough money to take it to your sort of obligations and to have enough money to be able to, I don't know, either save, travel, or go out. Because here you go out, you can spend 1,500 dirhams in one night and one evening, or for one dinner for two, like that. So, I think it's still kind of expensive. You still think that UK is more expensive?
Well, yeah. I think having traveled back a few times, and in real terms, everyday terms, I look at Nando's. Nando's here, 150 dirhams. Same Nando's for me and my family back in the UK, £54. It's nearly double.
Oh, wow. No, okay, that's
Same
different.
thing.
Yeah.
And that's on a low level, or middle, maybe mid-level. It's your entry level to dining, I'd say.
Yeah,
it's not an experience, but
fast food.
It's also not fast food. It's in that middle ground. But like to gauge that, also like going shopping, for house products. You can get UK products here, and you'll pay for it.
Yep.
But you anticipate you're importing the importation costs. But for the local equivalent, it's much cheaper. Rent.
Well, rent's cheaper in the UK. Not possible, is it? I mean, apart from London. London's very different.
Yeah. I mean, it depends, right? It depends where you're looking. I mean, it depends on the situation. I mean, if you're renting a 4-bed house, there's probably more 4-bed options cheaper in the UK than there are here, because it's a supply and demand issue. So now you're looking for a majority of places, Damac Hills 2, 160k for a 4-bed per year.
How was that in pounds? Something like
about just under 4,000, is it?
per
3.5?
month? 3.5 per month?
Yeah.
£3.5 per month.
Yeah.
And in the UK, 4-bed?
Yeah, I think you'd be paying about 2.5.
2.5. Yeah,
Again,
fair.
area dependent.
Area dependent,
But I
yeah.
feel like if you was a little bit out of town, Damac Hills 2, considered the furthest point of Dubai if you're living. If you were to do that in the UK, you definitely wouldn't be paying 2. I think you'd be looking at 1.8. You definitely wouldn't be paying 3.5.
Fair.
Maybe 1.8. It's closer to 2.
But you wouldn't have the gated community. No. You probably wouldn't have a pool or some sort of shared gym or concierge or whatever it is. This is what I call it in the UAE. I call the UAE the affordable luxury, because you live on a palm, you're paying $5,000 for a 2-bed apartment, you have your beach, you have 2 pools, a gym, you have everything done for you, ready for you, super secure, and it's quite private. You take that same model with the same quality of life and you put it in Europe and it's ×3.
Yeah.
It's impossible. If you want to go live in Paris and, live, I don't know, on the border of the Seine and have all those amenities, the apartment cost for 100 square meters is probably going to be like 15,000 to 20,000 euros minimum per month, and probably can't find it.
Yeah, 100%. I remember some of the service charges that were being charged in Greenwich for the apartments. 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 pounds a year.
Oosh.
That's a studio apartment.
Yeah, that's just studio apartment.
Just for the amenities, which are free here.
Yeah.
When you're renting, you don't pay for them again on top.
It's about what you want in life, and I think in Dubai, the opportunity that you have to make something of yourself is a little bit higher than because it's a little bit more open. It's a little bit more easier to work with people, and people are more open to new experiences. So, what's next for you, Jordan? You're here, you're established, you're happy, you're buying a house.
Yep.
You're married, you have a kid, growing up healthy, probably going to be a footballer from what you're telling me.
Yeah.
We're
going to make looking more NBA, NFL at the moment.
NBA, NFL, love it. Love it. And what's next? What are your next 5 years look like?
I have 2 other businesses. So I have a stem cell clinic, which we've just launched in Jumeirah, providing mesenchymal stem cell treatments. So super exciting. The plan with that is to leave a legacy of making a positive difference in the world, developing medical science and research. So that's exciting. Upon leaving my last job in FX, I've now opened a financial service concierge, which essentially allows me to offer a turnkey solution for individuals and corporates relating to everything: corporate setup, lending, onshore, offshore banking, will underwriting, something that's very important in the region. A lot of people haven't done.
That's fair.
And without the knowledge of Sharia law and how things work, if you've got a partner or kids, very important. So they're great. I love them. The financial service and consultancy, it's almost like my networking bridge gap. Mm-hmm. I mentioned earlier that I love solving the problems and the commercial gain isn't my main focus. By being able to tell people or advise or help them on areas in which that they can tighten their business, make it more profitable, take risk off the table, I look at that as just helping people out. I can tell them it, or I can set it up and do the full service for them. But either way, if I help you out, hopefully, and later down the line, if someone says, I need to fit out my house, that's it. I know the person, and it works. So that's the stem cells there for leaving legacy. It's all really generational wealth. Now that I'm the father, everything is just building for him and future siblings that may come.
Oh, look at you. Are you planning on a big family?
Not big, I don't think. I think 2 maybe.
2, 3?
2 close together, and then once we're kind of winding down, the businesses are running themselves. Maybe 1 to keep us young again. But we'll see.
Awesome. That sounds like a great plan. Listen, Jordan, thank you very much for coming over and sharing your story. That's awesome. I think it's going to give a lot of insight to people, how to move here, how people did their actual move. You did it during COVID, which is even more impressive. Dubai is a sort of battleground with a lot of people moving right now, but it's also plenty of opportunities for everybody to come and grasp. And somebody who will hear your story, I think, can be motivated by the fact that, I was in motorsports as well. Like, maybe I can do something here in the UAE as well. Yeah. And I think if we have motivated and ambitious people who come here, everybody will benefit, as you said. Starting from the top and now going to us entrepreneurs who are here and now trying to build something. Yeah. Congrats on the building. Good luck.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for coming, man. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure.